Women in England should be allowed to take abortion pills at home rather than in the clinic, say experts, just as they already do in Scotland and Wales. The current law, the 1967 Abortion Act, requires 2 doses of medication to be administered in a clinic to end a pregnancy in the first 9 weeks. But many women are then finding the effects kick in on their journey home, experiencing the bleeding, cramps and pain of miscarrying while sitting on a bus or in the back of a taxi. To avoid that pain and humiliation, some women are now buying the abortion pills illegally online. Scotland and Wales have recently changed the law so the second pill can be taken at home. Senior doctors and politicians are now calling on the new Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, to allow the same in England. So should the law be changed? Is it simply compassionate to allow women to have a legal abortion in the comfort of their own homes? Or do you think this is simply making abortion too easy? You could give us a call on 08000 288 291 or email vine@bbc.co.uk. Joining me on the programme, Beth Redmond. Hello, Beth. Good afternoon to you.
Hi, are you okay?
Yes, I'm all right, thank you. I hope you are too. You had a medical abortion, i.e. an abortion that is induced by taking 2 pills. When you were 19 years old, you were just a student at the time in your first year of university. How was it? What was the procedure like for you?
So I basically got pregnant quite quickly into the first year of my university, so I didn't really have any friends. I was really far away from home and far away from my boyfriend at the time as well. So I was quite isolated in terms of who I could speak to and who could come with me and stuff like that. So the doctor told me that I'd need to go to a clinic. I was in Essex at the time. The clinic was more or less in London. It was a 45-minute drive away. I'd need to go the first day, so the doctors could look over me and stuff like that, and then go back the second day to take the actual pill.
Yes.
And what the doctor said to me was that I wasn't allowed to take public transport. It was recommended that I don't do that, and it's recommended that I don't go on my own either. So I basically had to kind of think of someone who had a car that I could ask. I ended up paying a woman who was on my course £20 to take me there the first day and then take me back the second day. But what was the worst thing about it was the second day, you take the pill and then you have the option to leave the clinic, which is what I did. I would rather be at home while that's going on. But the symptoms came on almost immediately. So I was kind of in a more or less a stranger's car, having a miscarriage, almost to the point of kind of vomiting. The nausea was so bad.
Oh, my goodness.
And I think because the journey was so long, 45 minutes, by the time I got home, I essentially just opened the car door and crawled to my room because the pain was so bad, I couldn't really move at all. So it was quite traumatic. It wasn't a very nice experience at all.
No. I mean, do you feel that if you had been permitted to take that second pill at home, and presumably you were in student digs at the time, do you think it would have been altogether a preferable thing? Obviously not a very nice experience either way, but preferable to be at home?
100%, yeah. I think the humiliation and kind of awful kind of experience of having to go through a miscarriage for poorer women as well, who might not necessarily be able to afford a taxi, who do actually have to take public transport. The humiliation of going through that on public transport in public while you're travelling is, I can't even imagine how horrendous that must be. And
if you had thought, well, I just won't get in the car yet, I'll wait in the clinic, would the clinic have been open to that? Would there have been somewhere, private and comfortable that you could have waited in?
Yeah, definitely. But I think with this aspect of the argument is that a lot of women they can't do that for childcare reasons. They have to get back for jobs because they can't afford to take more time off and stuff like that. So there's definitely a choice there, which is good. But I think to kind of give more women kind of more choice, essentially, allowing them to take it at home it would directly positively impact poorer women, I think.
Thank you.
Women who live in rural areas as well, who have to travel really far to the clinics.
Thank you, Beth, very much. Let's go to Antonia Tully, who's campaign director at the Society for the Protection of Unborn Children. Hello, Antonia, good afternoon.
Hello.
Well, you were listening to that, and how horrible for Beth to be in a stranger's car and feeling such acute pain and embarrassment and all sorts of other emotions as well, I'm quite sure. Not the ideal place to be feeling any of those things.
Well, that's right. And she's described just how horrific aborting your baby is.
I'm not sure that is what she described, actually. She described the symptoms that she was feeling, but she didn't say or conclude that she thought aborting her baby was horrific. Let's just ask her. Beth, you're still there. Is that what you were describing, how horrific aborting a baby is, or what the symptoms were like of the abortion?
I was definitely describing the symptoms of the abortion.
And so you don't agree that it's horrific to have had a termination at all?
No, I think it's a part of life. I think it's perfectly normal. And I think lots of women go through that. And whether or not somebody kind of agrees with abortion or not and thinks it should be illegal, abortions will happen anyway. It'll just make them more unsafe. It'll make the conditions that women have abortions in more unsafe and dangerous for them. So I think we have to acknowledge that abortions are going to happen regardless, and we need to kind of make the situation and the conditions for women as comfortable and easy as possible.
Yes. Antonia, so there you have it from Beth herself.
Yes.
But the description of having to undergo those sorts of pains, physical and embarrassing, symptoms and everything else in a car or on a bus or on a train, that sounds pretty traumatic, doesn't it? Would you think that it would be better to be able to take these legal abortion pills at home?
Well, let's talk about how safe taking abortion pills at home actually is. We can picture a young, frightened girl who's given a brown paper bag with the second abortion pill and perhaps a leaflet. She's told to go home and take this pill. Now, the timing between taking the first and second pill is critical. Is she going to take the second pill at the time she's meant to? Naturally, many women will want to take the second pill sooner rather than later, and that can lead to failed abortion and complications. And where is home? Home could be anywhere. It could be the back of a car, it could be a school toilet. And who's to say that she's not being coerced into having this abortion? It's precisely the most vulnerable women who are most at risk from this new policy of sending women away with the second abortion pill.
Well, I can give you some pretty dramatic statistics on this. For example, in Scotland, where it is now legal to take the second pill at home, 8 out of 10 women say yes and they choose that option. I mean, that's a pretty cataclysmic number, isn't it? 8 out of 10 say, would I rather take it on the bus or would I rather take it sitting in a clinic? No, I'd rather take it at home. 8 out of 10.
Well, I'm just always very concerned that women actually just don't know what this involves. And actually, it's not legal in Scotland. The Society for the Protection of Unborn Children in Scotland is currently mounting a legal challenge against this because we don't believe it's lawful. But our primary concern is, what is this doing to women, particularly vulnerable women? And when we know that the world over, intimate partner violence, abusive men forcing in abusing women, this is a major risk factor for abortion. And I can only see this playing into the hands of abusive men, forcing women to have abortions, making women take abortion pills away from a medical setting, covering up abuse, in other words. And I think another risk factor that I really want women listening to this to understand is that you go home, you have the abortion. Many women are not going to understand whether their abortion has gone correctly or not. They may not seek medical help until an infection develops. And as a GP said to me, there's a real risk of women not seeing the severity of their symptoms, not seeing just how severe their bleeding is, for example, after they've taken this second abortion pill.
Well, let's speak to Beth about this because she has been through it. Do you accept that any of those are legitimate fears or should be a deterrent to taking those sorts of pills at home, Beth?
No, I think the main thing that your argument is missing there is that no one is campaigning to force women to take these pills at home. We're campaigning for the choice to be there if women want to take it at home. And the women who work in these abortion clinics are trained. It's not as though you go in and they hand you the pill and you leave immediately. There are many, many conversations that you go through with your doctor, with the women who work in the abortion clinics, so that they A, make sure that this is exactly what you want to do so that you know what's going to happen. With regards to women knowing the symptoms and knowing whether anything's going wrong, as I say, the symptoms didn't happen in the clinic anyway. So as the law currently stands, I wouldn't know the difference either. If it's safe for women in Wales, if it's safe for women in Scotland to do, I don't understand why it's not safe for women in England. And larger picture, Northern Ireland, women still can't access abortion in Northern Ireland, which is absolutely horrific. So I don't think any of the arguments stand up. I think the main issue is giving women more choice, and kind of denying them that choice is making it harder to kind of access, especially, as I say, for poorer women.
Well, I'd like to thank you both. Thanks to Beth and thanks to Antonia too.